Hello and greetings from me, the Kinder Knight, and welcome back to the town at Kuttenstein. In today's episode, we'll be wrapping up the last remaining structures to this semi-massive project. I'm really loving how this project is turning out, and hopefully you guys do too, because I am super excited to show you what I've been working on. And so, if you like what you see thus far, you can do me a real solid by hitting that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. So, in wrapping up this final episode, as I mentioned in the last video, the plan is to add in the town's church as well as the town's mill. And so, kicking it off with the church here, I went with a design and texturing I felt best suits the overall look and feel of the town at Kuttenstein, which is kind of this red brick gradient with the upper parts of the bell tower consisting of a white plaster texturing with some nice arched windows. Here I decided to add in some more farmlands with a little cabin to better utilize this space and to also add in some more points of interest. And to finish out the remaining of the church portion of the build, I went in and added in a bunch of graves all around the church grounds. So here I'm starting on the mill. I decided to go with a windmill instead of a water mill. I overall just felt aesthetically the windmill would create a more pleasing effect. So here I'm building the miller's house, obviously a very simple home with a couple of utility buildings for housing and storing animals and firewood and other supplies. And finally, finishing out this portion of the build, I went ahead and added in some more fields that belong to the miller. Okay guys, and welcome back from the time lapse. I hope you guys enjoyed that, but as you can see, here it is, Kuttenstein, or the town at Kuttenstein, and it's all finished and all complete. Check out our castle here, standing there looking majestic, looking over and ruling over our town here, and we have our a view of our church back there in the horizon as well as our mill. And so I want to just kind of show you guys a little closer, a little flyover real quick, just to give you guys kind of a bird-eye view of what we just built here. As you can see, we have our little fields here, we have some birds. I really loved how this turned out, guys. I really am pleased with how everything's looking. And here, this open field, I just went ahead and just added cattle and some animals in here. Let me go down a little bit for you. So obviously our road stops here because this is actually the end of the build. But eventually we will have the road connect to somewhere over there, but it's fine for now. That'll be in a future episode that's not related to the Kuttenstein project, but yeah, I think it came out really good. So with that, guys, we'll go ahead and start our tour, and we'll take it from here by journeying up to the miller's residence and checking out the miller's house and our windmill. And so let's go ahead and make our way up this very long road. Okay, so first off, right here to our left, we have the outhouse and of course some birds in the sky for some atmosphere. We have a cart here with some supplies and some little chickens. And then we have our dove cove here. And then we have this little bench here where someone can just kind of sit and chill. And then in this little area here, we have a lot of the firewood stored along with some other little things. And then making our way to our first little field here, we have some peas. I think this is peas. I don't remember, but it looks really cool, I think. Nice little detail. I didn't do any terraforming because I didn't feel it was necessary and it would just take too much time, and so I skipped it. Moving on, we do have some clothes right here drying in the sun. And then some more firewood here. We have this little wash basin here. And I think we'll go ahead and check out the interiors of the miller's house. Let's go ahead and step inside. And then right to our left, we have this little shelf where we have some supplies. And then back here, we have more firewood. And then stepping through here, we have the dining area. Pretty much what you guys come to know. We have a table there, a place to cook our warm meals. So that's that. And then we'll close the door. We'll open up this. And then we come into the first bedroom or sleeping chamber. We have a couple of nicer beds in here with a chest and like an armoire or a dresser, whatever you want to call it. Close the door. Then climbing up the ladder here, we come to the attic portion and we have a couple of simple thatched beds. Maybe the helping hand who helps out the miller, this is where they would sleep. We got some other little hay just thrown up here. As well as we come over here too, we have some more just assorted supplies and stuff like that, hay. And then we got a couple of farming tools there. But that's that, so we'll go ahead and check out some more of this plot here. Over here we have our cabbage garden, which is the second kind of field on the plot our miller has. Again, I really like how it kind of slopes down the side of this hill. I thought that was really cool. And then we have some more supplies, and then stepping back here, we have some laundry here drying in the sun. And now we'll come to our barn where our miller's horse is stabled. His one and only horse that's probably responsible for helping him haul a lot of the wheat that belongs to the Lord and taking it up to his castle. Got some flies flying around him, just to add some atmosphere and some details. And then stepping into here, we have our pig pen here. And as you know, pigs stink, so we have flies on them as well. And then moving on, we have our first big chicken coop here. Opening the door here, we can step inside and we can walk up this and we can see we have some eggs here. We have access to those eggs. And then going around back, we just have a couple of smaller chicken coops there. Some more wood here, along with some more supplies and some wood and stuff like that laying around. Of course, we have a nice view of our castle of Kuttenstein there. Looks really cool. But moving on, and then we also have a view of our church. So moving on. So coming along back here, we have some more firewood here, some more loose boards on the ground, maybe for making repairs around the house and the mill. Yeah, so moving on, we'll cross this bridge here. This is a really cool design, I think. Very simple, but it's effective and it works. Really like how it came out. So again, walking across this bridge, we have some more laundry here drying in the sun. And then here we have a little light. And now we come to our windmill here, and I really love how it came out. Looks so good. It's such a small build, but it's jam-packed with details, and that's what I love about it. So moving on, we just have a bunch of supplies here, and I'm thinking maybe this is the grain that has been processed, and it will be loaded up into this cart here by the miller and then taken up to Kuttenstein Castle for the Lord to store in his own personal pantries and cellars. And so I thought that was cool. Just walking around this little plot here, we have a lot of vegetation and overgrown grass. We do have some fencing here. Cool stuff. Lots of details, as I said. A broken cart there. I really enjoy building this windmill, but we're gonna go ahead and go inside and check it out. So opening the door here, stepping inside, as you can see, we have some grain being processed. We have a couple of big cogs here for making repairs on the windmill. Stepping up, we have, I guess, how the windmill would work. We have this big wheel, our turbine that would turn, that would then turn the cog there, that would grind the grain you would put the grain in, and then it would just pour out through here into that catcher or whatever you want to call that. Yeah, really simple, but it's I think it's coherent and it works the way it looks. So again, you can always grind the grain if it didn't come out as fine as you want it to be. Up here we just have some more stores. Yeah, and that's pretty much the windmill. Very simple, but lots of detail, and it's really cool. But in my opinion, the main event is the church, and you guys will see just why when we get there. And guys, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and walk it. I'm not gonna do much talking because I just want to just walk all the way to the church, and I just want you guys to be able to enjoy the scenery and the atmosphere of the build. So let's go ahead and make our way to the church. So guys, real quick, in the last episode, I forgot to include this portion of the build. It's the town stocks. Obviously, people who commit crimes or are being punished would be put here or sent here. And so I just wanted to show you guys this because I forgot to in the last episode, but there you have it. Really simple, but cool. Another atmosphere component, a little bit of story with that. But as you can see, our church here. Now in the last episode, all this was unfinished, and as you can see, it's been terraformed now. We have some laundry here drying in the sun. Coming up here, we have this cart. And then we have our fields here. Looks really cool, I think. And if you didn't know, these fields do indeed belong to the church. And so, the story behind this, on top of not only having to farm and harvest the fields and land for the lord of the castle, the town's peasants would also be responsible for farming the church's fields as well. This would be considered part of their devotion to God, as well as, in exchange, the priest would pray for the salvation of their souls. And so that's how these fields would be farmed. So over here we have another little chicken coop. Obviously we have some little chickens around, but making our way up this path here. Now we have our second little field area here. And now if we head on back through here, we have the outhouse. And so moving on, we'll go ahead and check out the interiors of the priest's cabin. Opening the door, stepping inside, you guys can see that it's really small and I guess quite cozy in here. He has a table here where he can study and write, maybe rehearse scriptures that he will use for a sermon. He has a little area here to cook and prepare warm meals. And then over here he has a little chest, and then he has his own personal bookcase or bookshelf where all his books that he personally owns, where he keeps them. But climbing up this ladder here, we have where the priest sleeps. He has a nice little bed, a nice big chest here. And so, oh, and then we have this, whatever you call it, shelf of scrolls. Whoop. There we go. So that's that. Again, the priest's house, very simple, very minimalistic. He's a priest. He doesn't need a lot of earthly possessions, as they say. But now we'll go ahead and check out the church grounds. So heading over, as you guys can see, just take this in. Look at that. We have some birds flying out of the bell tower there. Looks really cool. And now, as we walk the lot here, we'll see a lot of graves, as you guys seen, being built in a time lapse. A lot of these graves are like older and like moldy, and some of them are like more new. And it looks cool. I think it looks really cool. And then over here we have, I think, what is called an ossuary. It's basically a little like bone graveyard. When there's not enough room in the ground to bury people, they would just bury them in one of these, and it's just as good as burying them in the ground, I guess, in hollowed ground. So very realistic, a nice cool little detail that really pulls together the look of this graveyard here. So yeah, I really feel that the atmosphere in this place is really on point. We got another nice view of our castle there. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and make our way through the graveyard, and I want to show you guys the main event, again, as I call it, the interiors of the church. So before we step in, just want to point out a little detail real quick, and it's here. We have a little gargoyle right there, very realistic, and I thought that was cool. So now we're ready to go in, and as we step into the church, just check this out, guys. Look at this. It looks really cool, I think. I really think I did a pretty good job as recreating painted walls or murals. And then even the details of the floor, I think it all just came together very nicely. I am super happy with this. I don't think it would have come out any better if I tried any harder. So anyways, pointing out some of the little details. Over here we have this little wash basin to kind of wash your hands before approaching the altar. And then we have a little money box here. And then we do have some candle stands or candle holders around as well. But approaching the altar, we have this nice effigy, I think it's called, right here. Very realistic. The color palette is really pleasing to me as well. I really loved how everything came together. So yeah, so now we're gonna go ahead and make our way out, and then we're gonna go and check out the actual bell tower to end the tour. So let's go ahead and make our way. So we're gonna go up these stairs here. And open this door. There we go. So obviously this is only accessible from outside, and only the priest and maybe the Lord would be allowed to even come up here anyways. So going ahead and stepping in through this door here. Now we have this little pew or whatever it's called for the priest to sit and maybe take a break before he makes that long climb up the bell tower. But let's go ahead and make that long climb up. Very windy. So our first stop is here. We'll open the door. And now this portion of the build is kind of like the library, or I guess where the sacred books and like tomes would be kept by the priests. And as you can see, it's really old and dirty in here. I kind of set up a little cool kind of scene with the birds right here. As you can see, I'll explain it to you. So basically, when you're stepping into this room, you kind of startle these birds here, which is causing them to fly out through the window there. I thought it was a cool little idea to add. But if you look all around, you have a lot of this kind of flaky, kind of old white and gray kind of stuff around. And that's because the birds are leaving that behind as a gift for our priests. But no, yeah, so birds live up here. And so, you know, birds, you know, they have to go to the bathroom, and that's where they go. Because the priest is the only one up here, it doesn't get cleaned much. The priest does not have time to come up here and clean, and so it's kind of dingy and kind of grimy up here. And again, a cool little detail. An earful, I know, but anyways, flying up here, we have another little Easter egg with this owl, and we have a nest. Again, another little roost for these birds to live. So yeah, that's that. I really love the ideal of this place, and so I really just wanted to explain it all to you guys. But we'll move on. So now we come to the bell and the top of the bell tower here. As you can see, pretty decent views from here. So the way it worked would be this rope is connected to this pole that's connected to this swivel, and the priest would come over here, and then he would pull on it, causing the bell to swivel and ding as a bell would. But that's pretty much that. We do have some atmosphere and some Easter eggs set up here, like that nest. And we have some pigeons just walking along the ledge here. And just taking these views, guys, I think it just looks so amazing. We have a view. Pretty nice view. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's Kuttenstein. Was able to finish it in a decent amount of time, I think. I'm really proud and happy with how it all came out. Well, guys, that was Kuttenstein. I was able to wrap it up in a few episodes, and I'm really proud of myself. I really am loving how this all turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of a shorter series. I know I do. I kind of prefer this type of series more so because I'm able to focus on the details without feeling like I'm getting burned out. So guys, expect new castles, expect a new town soon. I will be going out of town for a couple of weeks with the family, so I won't have anything uploaded, or I won't be working on anything until I return back home. So with that being said, in a few weeks, expect the cinematic, and I will be making this map available for download. So I would like to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for watching and supporting the channel. And if you liked the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. But until next time, I bid you a farewell.